we suffer, do we have the faith to praise God, trusting His wisdom, even though it may be beyond our understanding? Let's begin to explore the human condition and the nature of faith in Job 1. What kind of man was Job, and how did he live his life? A man in the land of Uz was named Job. That man was honest, a person of absolute integrity. He feared God and avoided evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 pairs of oxen, 500 female donkeys, and a vast number of servants, so that he was greater than all the people of the East. Each of his sons hosted a feast in his own house on his birthday. They invited their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When the days of the feast had been completed, Job would send word and purify his children. Getting up early in the morning, he prepared entirely burnt offerings for each of them. For Job thought, "Perhaps my children have sinned," and then cursed God in their hearts. Job did this regularly. How did the devil challenge God in regard to Job, and what did God allow? One day, when the angels had gathered around the Lord, and Satan was there with them, the Lord asked, "Satan, where have you been?" Satan replied, "I've been going all over the earth." Then the Lord asked, "What do you think of my servant Job? No one on earth is like him. He is a truly good person who respects me and refuses to do evil." "Why shouldn't he respect you?" Satan remarked. "You're like a wall protecting not only him, but his entire family and all his property. You make him successful in whatever he does, and his flocks and herds are everywhere. Try taking away everything he owns, and he'll curse you to your face." The Lord replied, "All right, Satan, do what you want with anything that belongs to him, but don't harm Job." Then Satan left. What bad news came to Job in multiple devastating waves? Now there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. And there came a messenger to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding beside them, and the Sabaeans fell upon them, and took them and struck down the servants with the edge of the sword. And I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was yet speaking, there came another and said, "The fire of God fell from heaven, and burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them. And I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was yet speaking, there came another and said, "The Chaldeans formed 3 groups, and made a raid on the camels, and took them, and struck down the servants with the edge of the sword. And I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was yet speaking, there came another and said, "Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. And behold, a great wind came across the wilderness, and struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young people, and they're dead, and I alone have escaped to tell you." How did Job react to the bad news without sinning? How would we have reacted? Then Job stood up, tore his robe, and shaved his head. He fell to the ground and worshipped, saying, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I'll leave this life. The Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Praise the name of Yahweh." Throughout all this, Job did not sin or blame God for anything. How hard is it to still trust God and be joyful when we're suffering? Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you're involved in various trials, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. But you must let endurance have its full effect, so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. When we suffer, do we have the faith to praise God, trusting His wisdom, even though it may be beyond our understanding? You decide.